This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friends, good morning in this Azure Databricks Master Program. So in today's session, we are going to talk about the dbutils commands in Databricks. What is dbutils? If you want to interact with the Databricks file system, if you want to move any file in a file from one folder to another folder in Databricks file system, if you want to maybe copy instead of moving means cut and paste, right? So instead of that, I want to copy some file, you are going to use the dbutils. You want to call another notebook from the current notebook, you are going to use the dbutil commands. You want to install the some package, you are going to use the dbutil commands. Okay, so not only for this, you are going to use the dbutils commands for many use cases. Okay, and you are going to use these dbutil commands very regularly. It doesn't matter whether you are using Scala, whether you are using Python, commands are same, and these commands you are going to use very frequently as part of your development, because you want to see what files we have. Okay, so if you want to check all those things, you are going to use the dbutil commands. Okay, we are going to talk about all the dbutil commands today. So tomorrow, like, dbutils commands, I cannot able to finish it in one day. So today we are going to talk about some of the dbutils commands. Tomorrow we will talk about other dbutils commands. Okay, even if you want to pass any input to data, like a Databricks notebook, if you want to take output from Databricks notebook, all these input, output, everything you are going to take it, you are going to create those widgets, you are going to return Databricks notebook output, all those things with the help of dbutil commands. Okay, let's talk about today what we are going to learn. We will see command to create directory in Dbfs. Suppose as we discussed yesterday, we don't have any option to create the directory within a Databricks file system. So what I wanted to do, but I want to create a directory. Directory is nothing but simply folder. Okay, I want to create a folder. So how to create this folder in Dbfs? Okay, so what is the command, dbutil command we are going to use? I will explain. Then command to create file and write data to it. What you can do, you can create a file and you can write some data to that particular file. Okay, this file you can store it in a dbfs storage. Okay, how to do that we are going to see. Then we are going to talk about command to display file content. You want to preview some data, or you want to see the data which we have in a file, you can use some dbutil command to see the data, to display file content. Then you want to see all the subdirectories we have. Okay, or you want to understand all the content which we have in a directory, you are going to use some of the commands. Then we are going to talk about how to move file from one directory to another directory, how to copy file from one directory to another directory, and we are also going to see how to remove file, how to remove directory by using dbutil commands. Then we will see command to mount and unmount file system. Example, you want to, right now by default blob storage is mounted, it's an abstraction layer, we cannot able to see the data which we have in a blob storage. But same storage, now maybe data lake storage gen 1, blob storage, data lake storage gen 2, or SQL. Yeah, so these are the main storages, right? So data lake storage gen 1, gen 2, blob storage, AWS S3. So these are storage systems. These storage systems, I want to mount it. Mount it means I should be able to access it from the Databricks. Then you need to have a mount. You need to use a mount. Otherwise, if you want to disable the connection, then you need to do the unmount. We are going to talk about those things. Then we are going to see all the mount related commands I will list down. Okay. Then we'll see refresh mount point. Sometimes what happens, you are trying to read data from data lake storage or blob storage, data lake storage or AWS S3, but those you will not be able to read data. Okay, you will get some errors. The first step, the first debug step that you need to take is you need to refresh the mount point. You need to refresh the mount point, meaning mount point is nothing but try to understand as some connection. Okay, some connection or attachment. Okay, you are attaching other storages to the database file system. Next, command to install package, how to install the package. Then we are going to talk about command to find current notebook path. this is also very, very useful. Suppose I want to run this notebook from another notebook, or somebody is requesting you, so in which path this notebook is available, how to get current notebook path. Okay, then command to run one notebook from another notebook. Suppose how to run one notebook from another notebook. Next, command to exit notebook execution. So what I wanted to do, I want to just first read the data from the file and do the some n number of transformation, and you write the data. But when you read the data, you realized there is no content in it. Do you want to proceed further? No, right? So you want to exit, you want to stop execution immediately. I don't want to execute other cells unnecessarily. I want to exit at that particular time. How to exit notebook execution? Then I am going to show you how to list down secret scope. Secret scope we are going to create to connect with Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault is a managed service where we are going to store all our username and password. Okay, so why you need to store username and password in Key Vault? Because hard coding username and password is not recommended, and storing this username and password also not recommended. The reason is whoever is access to the storage, they can go and open that file to see the username and password. In the same way, if you have hard coded the username and password in your notebook, it will be easy for them to look at that particular message, isn't it? That username and password, they can able to see it from the code. But if you keep the same username and password in Key Vault, what happens? This particular keys, username and password will be encrypted. Nobody can able to read it. Only Databricks, from Databricks, if you access, Databricks can able to understand what is the username which is there inside this keyword. Okay, so that's how we are going to access the credentials securely with the help of Azure Key Vault. We are going to talk about that, how to access the secrets from the Azure Key Vault. Okay, this is how we will work in real time. Okay, all our credentials will be there in a Azure Key Vault. Okay, so commands, you see, create directory in dbfs. Suppose dbfs, first you see friends, dbutils is the default. Okay, dbutils is nothing but you want to work with the Databricks file system, dbutils you need to use. Okay, this is the common across all the commands. Next, dbutils dot fs dot mkdirs. Fs is nothing but what? File system. dbutils dot fs dot mkdirs. Can you guess it? What is fs might be? You are working with what system? File system. What might be the fs?
File system.
Dbfs.
File system. Okay.
Dbfs file
Databricks file system.
Very good. So dbutils, I want to apply my Databricks file system command on files. Okay, basically you are working with the files now. Okay, that's why fs. Suppose I want to work with notebook, maybe I want to call another notebook, or I want to stop executing other commands, okay, in a notebook. So if you want to work with notebook, then the command will be dbutils.notebook. I want to install the library, the command will be dbutils.library. Okay, I want to get these secrets, then dbutils.secret. Secret is nothing but the username and password which you have in Azure Key Vault if you want to access. Okay, try to understand. dbutils.fs for working with files and directories, dbutils.notebook to work with notebooks, dbutils.library to work with, to install the libraries or something, dbutils.secrets to access the username and password from the Azure Key Vault. Okay, so fs means we are working with the directories and files. mkdirs, mk, make dirs, directory, make directory. Okay, so you just have to give the path and directory name which you want to give, which you want to create. Let's say I have a slash cloud pandit slash databricks team. Okay, I have something like that, slash, that is the existing directory. The existing directory is slash cloud pandit slash databricks training slash. In that I want to say batch 13 or batch 24. I want to create a, so for each batch I want to create one folder. So for your batch I will create something. Okay, batch 33, something like that. Okay, next, create.
Quick question. This slash path that we have, right? Generally, slash we point out to root. Generally, like in the Unix or shell, we tell like this. So question is, that also defined based on your profile and based on your user, right? So what is the user here?
Okay, see, do not worry here. I need to use some default one, dbfs colon. Okay, because that is not mandatory. That's why I have not used. Don't think that it's a root. Okay, so when you say root here, it indicates file system home directory. File system / tables will be there. That is the default directory. It will imagine. Okay, if you want to change another directory, you can able to change it. But when you are, instead of simply saying /, if you have any confusion, you can say dbfs colon, you can put at the starting. Okay, dbfs home directory starting, then you can just give the directory name. Okay, clear?
Okay.
I'll show you practically so that all your doubts will. Next, create file and write data to it. See, what happens is at the end of the day, when I start using this, people will confuse, okay, where you have used this, where you have used, I did not know this, when you taught these things. But these things, I don't know when I will use, but I may use very, very regularly. Okay, so you need to remember, I'm going to teach you. dbutils.fs. Again, I'm working with the directories and files. This time I want to put something. What is that something? Is in the path filename.txt. This is the file I want to create. When I am creating this file, I want to write some content. That content you can just put it here. Okay. Next, display file content. Suppose you want to display file content, you can say dbutils.fs.head. So what this head will do? It will display entire data which you have in this particular file. Okay. Next, see dbutils.fs.ls. So listing all the directories, files which you have under a home directory maybe. Okay, /path/ means, let's say here I have created some directory, here I created some file. So those content it will show, okay, these are the directories, these are the files which we have under this home directory. Okay, I am just listing down. ls means, head means, so like entire data I'm going to read, but it is the meaning of this in Linux is top 10 records, something it is going to display based on the number which you have specified, right? But it is not like that here. It is going to show everything here. Next, move file from one directory to another directory. See, fs.mv, mv for moving. So path one, from which path to which path you want to move. Next, copy file from one. So copy means cp, move means mv. Okay, list down means ls. First, to display the data, head. To create a file and write data, put. To create the directory, mkdirs. Okay. Next, to remove the file, rm. To remove the file, rm. If you want to remove file, subdirectories, everything. Okay. Basically, if you want to delete any directory, rm, you need to specify that particular directory. Then you need to say true. True means, even if the directory is not empty, or whether it is empty or not empty doesn't matter, but if you want to remove directory, you need to give true. It's a directory. If you want to remove the directory, you need to use true. If you want to simply remove the file, you can say rm, and you can specify the file. If it is a directory comma true you need to put. Okay. Next command, mount and unmount file system. See, these things you will not be able to understand today, because these things we are going to discuss at least some 10 sessions we will have on this. Okay, so we will discuss about mount and unmount. So basically, mount means you are attaching the blob storage or data lake storage Gen1 or data lake storage Gen2 to your Databricks file system. Okay, unmount means you are detaching. So when you mount it, you can able to access the data which we have in those storages. Unmount means you will not be able to store that particular data. So as I mentioned, right, you might have created the mount point for multiple storages. Okay, multiple folders. Okay, so now you want to list out all those things. You want to see all those mount points. You need to say dbutils.fs.mount. So this is also file system, right? File system you are mounting, you are attaching. So fs.mounts. Mounts means it is going to give all the mount points which you have created. Refresh mount point in case when you are trying to read data from data lake storage Gen1 or Gen2, you are getting some server error, some issues. Then first step that you need to do is you need to refresh the mount. Okay, dbutils.fs.refresh mount. Okay, when you create the mount point on, so mount point, if you want to set, you need to execute some code. Okay, like example, you have You have created the mount point for data lake storage Gen 1. Now what happens? You will start reading data. Now suddenly what happened? Another cluster is created. Now you want to read data from another cluster. Understood? You have a cluster 1, cluster 2. You have created a mount point on cluster 1 and you are trying to read the data. Okay, that's okay. But somebody told you that okay, data science team is going to submit job. Can you just use the cluster 2? So you need to detach your notebook from cluster 1 and reattach to the cluster 2. When you attach to the cluster 2, if you try to access, it may or may not work. If it is not working, that connection, please do dbutils.fs.refresh mount, 100% it will work. Okay, that is the scenario where exactly we will use the refresh mounts. Okay, next command. See, install the package. Let's say TensorFlow, this is machine learning library. Suppose what happens if you are not, if you're not selected the ML related runtime, then TensorFlow, other things will not be available. Now I want to install the TensorFlow, or I want to install, maybe I want to connect to the different on-premise SQL server or something. You have something called PyODBC, isn't it? So when you have PyODBC, other things, what happens? You want to install these libraries. For that, you are going to use dbutils.library.install pip of TensorFlow. This is the TensorFlow I want to install. Next, find current notebook path from UI. Suppose I want to understand what is the current notebook path. See, you may think, yeah, I will click on this folders and I will come to know where it is. That you can do. Maybe you can just click on workspace, go to user folder, then you can select the subfolder. Inside subfolder you can find out the notebook. But if you're trying to give like this, it will be very, very difficult for you to just note down one by one, because you cannot like copy directly, right? So instead of that, you can use a command. You can use a directly command dbutils.notebook.getContext.notebook path. Next, run one notebook from another notebook. Let's say run path. See, this is the first way to run your notebook. There are two ways. First one is without dbutil command, you can able to run percentile run. This is a magic command, right? So I want to run path of the notebook. Which notebook you want to run? These are the two are the inputs for this notebook, which you are calling. So the second way is dbutils.notebook.run. I want to run. So path of the notebook which you are trying to run, and timeout. If this notebook did not finish the execution within the 600 seconds, then it will throw timeout error. The input for this particular notebook is name equal to Rama, location equal to Bangalore. In the same way, exit notebook execution. So before you exit, okay, maybe data is not available, you want to stop the execution, then you can use dbutils.notebook.exit, exit message. This exit message is exactly a return type. It will also tell you whatever message you have given, this message it will display before it stop the execution. Maybe you can say, okay, there is no data, stopping the execution. You can write something here, say it will return.
Where can we find the location of a notebook?
I will tell you where we can find. There are multiple ways. Like there are two ways. One is you can use a command. Second one is you can go to that notebook. You have some options to get that particular location of the notebook. I will show you. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
List down secret scope. Secret scope means you might have created the multiple scopes to connect to the keyword to read username and password, right, from different keyword. So if you want to see all the scopes which are available, you need to use dbutils.secrets.list scope. Okay, all these things you can use. These are the slides we have for today. And one more thing, I have shown many things. Do you remember anything? Okay, don't try to remember anything, because I will tell you the trick. So everything you will get it from the notebook itself. Okay, already I have created the cluster and I have created the Databricks workspace. See, Databricks workspace I created. Just click on launch workspace. I am here. My cluster also should be up and running. See, my cluster is also running. So I'm just using 7.4 without machine learning. It's a general runtime and inactive time is 60 seconds. So Misra is asking, there is something called here, you see, enable credential pass through for user level data access. Suppose you want to access data like storage without passing any username and password, you can enable this option, but this option is available only for the premium pricing tier. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is, this is not recommended because anybody who has access to this cluster, they can able to access the data like storage. So you want to restrict the data, whom to access what data, right? Who should access what data. If you want to restrict, this will not work, because this will enable everybody to access the data, whoever is having cluster. Okay, that's why we won't use this, but we are going to create the mount point in real time. Mostly 99.999% we will create the mount point. Okay, so we will discuss those things. Now cluster is available. Let's come here. Let me create the notebook. Okay, just click here, create notebook. This I can say dbutils part 1, Python, right? Next, so I am here. So first we will try to understand few things. Okay, just click on data. This is the Databricks file system. Okay, cluster is ready, but still it is not showing the default database way. Cluster is ready. Just refresh this one. Okay, now just go to data. See, default database came. Okay, now let's click on create table. Okay, what you need to do, just to click on Dbfs, the database file system. See, the default home is, it will consider as a file store / tables. Okay, so whatever files you upload directly, those will be uploaded into file store / tables here. Like directly it will upload here. Okay, example I will show you. Okay, sorry. So now let me show you few more things I want to show you before we start the actual practical. See, yesterday we don't have time to explain all those things. I did not explain that, so I will explain few things today. Just browse it. You know how to upload the files, right? Maybe you can say Cloud Pandit data set, so comma separated file. You can say results.csv. Just click OK. Okay. Now you see here, you see two things: create a table with UI, create a table in notebook. Meaning you can create a table with UI, user interface. Okay, what is meant by UI is, with graphical interface, some selection you need to do in which database you want to create. So do you have any headers in CSV files or not? Everything you are going to select it from the UI. But yesterday, if you remember, we read same CSV file by using command spark session, that is nothing but a spark dot read dot format of CSV dot load from this particular location. And whenever we are reading or writing CSV files, I also mentioned to use header equal to true if you have a headers in the CSV file, right? So that's how we have created the table yesterday. But I want to create this table from UI. Okay, first you try to understand where this file is uploaded. Where this file is uploaded, you see the default file store / tables. Understood? But I don't want to upload any file directly under tables. Instead, I want to create a multiple folders. In those respective folders, I want to load the respective files. Okay, how to do that we are going to discuss. Before that, with uploaded file, I want to create a table in a default database because I don't have a new database, right? Just to click create table with UI. See, select a cluster to preview the table. Just select the cluster. On this cluster, click preview table. You see, come here. This is the table name. Table name, what I wanted to do, I want to say results, or you can say CP result, Cloud Pandit results. Okay. Now create a database. Do you want to create a new database? No. See, I have only one database, that is default, so I'm going to use this. You don't have a choice to create. Okay, next, what type of file it is? Automatically detected that it's a CSV file. Column delimiter, is it a comma or something else? You just have to tell. Next, so you have headers, but you see headers went into the data and the default headers came. Now I want to say first row is header. For that, you select this option, first row is header. Now you see you have a proper headers. Okay, so with this data I want to create a table, then click create table. So other options I will tell you. See, now table is created. Now table is created. Go to data, go to default. See, CP results table is created. This is also permanent table, but this permanent table you can create it from the notebook or from UI. Okay, this part is pending yesterday. I covered that as well. Now let's click on create table once again. Now click on dbfs, file store, tables. This is the results.csv. What I realized is, now I realized that I should not have this results.csv file at this position. I want to create some folder. Inside the folder, I want to place this results.csv. Okay, what you need to do, do not delete this file. Okay, if you delete again, you need to upload. What I will do, first I will create a subdirectory. Into the directory, this file I will move it. I will move. Okay, let's do how to do that is, see, first select this results.csv. This is the file. This is the file. Go to recents, click on this recent notebook. Okay, so very easy. Just dbutils dot, I don't know what all things are possible. First thing, let me just copy this file location, but now I don't know what all options are available on this dbutils, right? So what you need to do, just simply you need to say help, I need help. It will tell you, see, dbutils.fs you can say, dbutils.credentials you can use, dbutils.library, dbutils.meta, dbutils.notebook, dbutils.preview, dbutils.secrets, dbutils.widgets. Widgets for inputs, so those things we will discuss tomorrow. So let's try to talk about fs, which is important. Okay, so fs, right? So now I want to check what all things are possible on fs. Again, I don't know what all things are available. Just again you ask help. So it is telling you can able to copy the files by using cp. You can able to display the data by using head. You can able to list down all the content in a directory by using ls. You can create the directory by using mkdirs. You can move files by using mv. You can create a folder and you can create a file. Into that file you can write some content. rm to remove any file or directory. Mount is basically to create any mount point. Mounts to see all the mount point which you have created. Refresh mount, if something is not working you can refresh mount. You can unmount, you have attached here, you can detach it here. So all these options we are going to use very frequently. So I will explain one by one. So first thing that we need to do is we need to create a mkdirs. So what you need to do, instead of help you need to put mkdirs, but let it be, it will be helpful for you. So here I will come and I will say dbutils.fs dot mkdirs. I want to create a subdirectory. Okay, so what is that particular directory? What is the directory I want to create? Under file store slash tables, under file store slash tables, I want to create the subdirectory. What is the subdirectory? Let's say credit data. This is the my actual folder I want to create. Okay, I also wanted to do one thing before I create this. What I try to do, you see, I'll just list down the content which I have in this particular file store slash tables. Okay, in this you try to understand. ls is basically to list down the content which we have under file store slash tables. Under this particular tables, whatever content we have, that content I want to list down. Okay, now let's see what content you have. See, under tables we have only one file called results.csv. Now I am trying to create a credit data folder. It's a mkdirs. I'm creating the folder. Let's create a folder. Okay, again I'll just use this command to see whether is it really created or not. Let's execute this. See, this time credit data folder you have, results.csv file you have. You understood this? Now, if you want to see from UI, you go here, create table, dbfs, file store, tables. You will see credit data folder created. Okay. Now come to recents, click on this. Okay, fine. So yeah,
Can we do pattern matching in the list?
pattern matching, it will not work here. Okay. Example, you made this one, right? Star.csv files only I want to display.
Yeah.
It will not work, something like that. Okay.
We can just give dot Malaya. It works, I guess. Can you try?
Dot.csv. Yeah.
No, just dot. It will show all the things available, but
No, all is anyway showing, right? All is anyway showing with ls.
.csv. Yeah. Dot means everything it is showing again.
Yeah, exactly. Dot means whatever it's there, it's showing.
just try to put star, Malaya. Okay.
Star, it will give again everything. I think everything it will give. No, but star will work in other places. Even it is not working here, star will work in other places, but you cannot filter out some files based on wildcard. Okay.
Okay. So no wildcard for like only files, or no matching in the name or anything. Nothing is there.
Yeah, nothing is there. Enter content, it will show. Later, if you want to filter out, you're able to filter out. You need to write a small for those things. Okay. So Python, like some logic you need to write to filter out those folders and all those things. Okay. Now, yeah, I will show you a few things. So don't worry, just let me check it. Will you be able to understand from this? Sorry. See here, name you will get like this, results.csv. So if you want to get something like this, it is possible. So fs basically, so instead of saying dbutils.fs.ls, what you can do, you are basically working with the file system. Percentile fs you can use, then you can just use ls list down the content from this particular table. So this is how you can use. You can use this.
Can you try to use wildcard here in this? Maybe it might work. I don't know.
It will work. Okay, let me just try that. See, it is not working. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it will not work.
That's fine. No problem.
Yeah, fine. Now you understood. First thing, what we have understood now, we learned how to create the directory, how to list out the content from the directory. Now, when we look at this particular tables, we have credit data folder and the results.csv. Now let's try to create one more file. Okay, maybe I want to create a yeah, let's try to move this particular file into credit data. Okay, credit data folder. So how to move? You know, right? dbutils.fs.mv, isn't it? MV. So from which folder? See, you can. So this is what I was trying to tell you. dbfs colon you can use, or you can just ignore that. That is not mandatory. You just keep it here. Okay. This is the file I want to move to which location. I want to move it into this location. Okay. So when you are moving, if you want to rename it, you can able to rename it. Otherwise, if you want to give it as a same, you can able to give it as a same. You just execute it. Okay, true. True means let's go to this particular folder and we will list down the content now which we have. Dbutils here. Same thing. So please let me know if you have any confusion. Just execute, list down the content. See, in this we have only one folder, but we don't have any file. Where that file went? that file went inside this particular container, this particular directory. Let's go inside this directory. We'll see the data. In this directory, you see you have a results.csv file. Understood? Now, in the same directory, you see in same directory, I want to create one more file and I want to write some data. dbutils.fs.put. Put is basically to create a file. Okay, maybe you can say here cloud welcome.txt. I can say something, welcome to cloud online training. Okay, something like this. I'll just put and execute it. Okay, it has written total 39 bytes of data. Okay, now I want to display the data which I've written to this. dbutils.fs.head. Okay, just execute it. So what you are getting, welcome to Cloud Pandit online training. Okay, you are getting.
Can you try to put like multiple lines thing?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. Wait. Okay, welcome to Cloud Pandit online trainings. I'll just say, so maybe you can say session.txt. Okay, welcome to Cloud Pandit online trainings. Then I will say /n. Okay, /n. So what I will do here, I can say EDF sessions /n ADB session. Okay, something like this. I have given some 3 lines. I'm writing. Okay, I have written total 3 lines. Now let's come here. I want to display this data. Instead of put, what we need to put? Head. It's executed. It will display those 3 lines. It is just displaying those 3 lines in a single line. It is just displaying those 3 lines in a single line. Any mistake I have done here?
I think you have to use escape character.
So new line, this one only, right? Like this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say session1.txt. Let me write the data. But it should work. This is session.txt. Okay, it is just displaying in a single line, but we cannot download this file as well. Yeah. So when I see what happens here, when it is displaying the data, put one more /u1. Let's say session2. See, it is actually writing data in a 3 lines, but when you are displaying, it is displaying in a single line. Okay,
Put session2.
Session2, right? See, it is just displaying like this, but actual data, when it is writing to this file, this will write it into multiple lines. This I will show you when we are working with the storages. There we can able to download the file, but even we can able to download the file from this Dbfs by using a CLI. So when we are doing with the CLI, that day I will show you. Okay.
Yeah, convert to data frame and see Malaya.
This one. So if you read it as a text, I think what it will do. It is coming as a single line. So 2 slashes I have used, right? Because of that, maybe session1.txt. You see 3 lines it has created. This is the first line, this is the second line, this is third line. Okay, 2 slashes is not required. If you use 2 slashes, Even if you use 2/, yeah, this will be hidden, right? That's why it is going, everything it is taking, but you need to use a single slash. See, I have used a single slash in that case. So session1.txt file, session.txt file, it has created three lines, 1, 2, 3 lines. Okay, understood? But don't use the double slash. Okay, double slash means the double black.
Can you try to do show? Then it will show in 3 lines instead of collect for sparks.
This is not a data frame. This is RDD.
Oh,
RDD
okay.
show. Let me just try to read it in text. Yes, you see.
Yeah. Correct.
Session1.txt. You see, with session2.txt, it is not like this. Okay, single line. So don't use double slash. This is clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One quick question. Another one. Here we are always using absolute path. So looks like similar to Hadoop, we cannot move to another directory. Correct?
Another?
We cannot move to a directory. Like we cannot use cd command because it's similar to that Hadoop concept. Is it?
CD command. Yeah, CD command will not work here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, fine. Now, so now we have seen how to create a file, how to display content from the file, how to create the directory. Okay. Now let's try to list down the content. Yeah, we also have seen how to list down the content. Now, what else is pending is dbutils dot fs dot mkdirs. I want to move. I want to create some folder. Okay, file store slash tables slash miscellaneous data. Okay, miscellaneous data, which is like some dummy data, all the corrupted data. I want to move it here. Let's say session2 file, which is not correct, right? So session2.txt file, which is not a correct format. That particular data, I want to move it into this folder. Okay. So how to move? Sorry, let's say sessions, all the sessions data I want to copy simply. For moving, you know, right? Let's try to use CP to copy this particular MISC data. Okay, this is corrupted file. This particular corrupted data, I also want to keep it in my MISC folder. Okay, just to give this, and I'm running. See, it is moved. Now let's see dbutils.ls list down the content from where, from this particular, in this directory, whether it is copied or not. I want to check. See, session2.txt came into this particular folder, but is it available in credit data still? Yes, it is available because it's a copy, not a move. It will be there. Session2.txt is still there in your credit data folder. Okay, dbutils.fs, so .help. So we talked about CP, we talked about head, ls, mkdir, mv put. So let's talk about rm now. Okay, so let's try to remove maybe session2.txt credit data. Okay, I want to remove rm. I want to remove this particular file. Execute it. See, true. After true, please be in Mkdirs. Okay. So credit data, check credit data folder. Session2.txt file is not available. I want to delete this entire folder itself. Then you can say true. Execute it. Oh, sorry, rm, right? RM unit. 1 second. Yeah, let it be. Let me just take a copy and put it in another cell. In this cell, I'll say instead of ls, you need to say rm, and I want to delete this entire directory. Then you need to say true. Execute it. It is deleted. Now let's see. Same command. If you try to use now, you will get some error. what error you will get? See, path does not exist or file not found. Okay, just remove this and check tables. You'll have a misc folder. Okay, because that particular folder and inside files everything is deleted. Okay, now I want to list down all the mounts, dbfs.fs.mounts, mount points which are available. So we have not created any mount point, but Databricks, okay, Databricks has some mount point from there, some external storages. Okay, with respect to the ML and other things, they have created some mount point. Okay, so these you cannot use for accessing anything. These are internal mount points. But when we create our own mount point, let's say I am going to create I will attach my blob storage, my data lake storage, then source will be a data lake storage. Here, whatever mount point you have, that mount point it will show. Okay, what is mount point is exactly, it's a attaching, you are attaching any other storage to the dbfs so that you can access the data into the Databricks from those storages once you create mount point. Okay, do not worry. So once you created mount, you want to unmount it, you want to detach the storage, then you need to use a unmount. Okay, if you want to refresh the mounts, fs dot, see, mount you are going to use for mounting the storage. For unmounting, you are going to use the unmount. Okay, but if you want to refresh the mounts, dbutils dot refresh. Okay, refresh mount, you can execute it now also. There is no issue because existing mount points will be refreshed.
One quick question. When you are hitting the fs.mount, what is the mount point it got mounted? Nothing, right?
It has not, see, I have not executed these two. I'm just giving the idea. If you want to mount it, you need to use this. If you want to unmount, you need to use this. Here you need to have a mount point and some all configuration, all the credentials related stuff you need to pass it to this particular mount. So these things we will discuss later. That's why I'm just telling you these two commands used for mounting a storage and unmounting the storage. I have not executed these. Okay, understood. These are just, I am giving some knowledge for that. I just written those two, but I have not executed this cell itself. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Now let's say import restart. Sorry. Import pyodbc. Execute it. What it is saying? New module name pyodbc. Okay. Next. Import tensor flow. Execute it. No module. These modules I want to install. Then dbutils.f. Sorry, it's a library this time. Okay. Library dot help you can use, just execute it. So we have a install pip. You can list down the libraries which are available. You can just restart your Python. Okay, so this is basically if you have any Anaconda environment, that particular environment you can able to update to the maybe new versions or new elements. Okay, but we will see how to install these modules. Okay, I have some modules which are not available, but I want to install those things. By using install pip, you can able to install. Okay, so after installing, you can use the restart Python. Okay, you can use the restart Python. So pip package, if you want to use to install library, you have to use this. If you have any package that is directly available, you can install by using this. List down all the content which you have already installed. Let's say list, yeah, let it be first.
So what is the difference between Maven and
yeah, Malaya, just one question. So when I install this library, so will it be downloaded to cluster or be like specific to notebook?
Specific to notebook.
Okay.
If you want
This
the
will
cluster level, you need to install them separately.
separately. Okay.
Until unless you ask the question, I see like everybody speak, people will not be able to understand question and answers. Yeah, tell me something. Other questions.
What is the difference between Maven and installing this way?
See, Maven means what you are doing is you need to get the path and you are downloading from there. So instead of that, those things you will come to know, man. So you no need to go to the Maven for that. Suppose if you want to install something, you will just get it here itself, Maven. You can just access the Maven packages, everything here. Whenever you are installing in a cluster level, you will access the Maven. But you want in a specific notebook level. I don't care about who all are using what packages, but for my notebook, I need this. Whenever I am executing this, I need this particular I need this particular library, then you need to install in a notebook level. Okay.
Okay. So if we have imported through Maven, then it is a global and it is across to all the notebooks. And if we execute the command using dbutils, it will be specific to notebook.
Yes. Yes. We have not installed any library. That's why it is showing empty. Okay. Let me just install.
So Malaya, what is the use case of installing the libraries to particular notebook rather installing at the cluster level?
Okay, so if see, if you are installing some library on a cluster, so if you are installing anything in, suppose people will ask, if you install SQL Server in your system, it will slow down your system, isn't it? So whenever you are installing some libraries, it will impact on your computers, isn't it? So it is going to install on all the computers when you install in a cluster level. So now when you don't have that requirement, what will happen is when it is executing this particular notebook, temporarily this library will be available in your cluster and it will execute this notebook, and then later this particular library will not be available. Okay, if you detach this notebook and reattach, this library will not be available.
Got it. So it's like a for performance, basically, to put in that way.
Okay, see, TensorFlow, I'm just saying executed. I'm just forming all the queries meanwhile, so that we don't need to spend time. Okay, let it run. So I just wanted to create a new notebook. Let me just create a new notebook quickly.
Yeah, Malay, I have one doubt. So if you have some scheduled notebook, you need to run on every hour basis. So there is a requirement to import some packages or something or libraries here. So every time it is going to install.
Okay, see, you are going to run some notebook very frequently, then the recommended is you can just install it in a cluster level.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Oh, one quick question. This is I'm just trying to reconcile back. When you say dbfs and when you are saying basically the tables or files getting created, right? On the back end, is it these are like whenever it's file systems or the files are getting created, actually are they getting created in the corresponding S3 places or in the storage of the corresponding EC2 machines?
I explained you, so it's not a S3, it's a blob storage. Everything will be there in a blob storage. Okay, so after installing library, you need to restart Python. I explained you that again. You did not remember. See, install library is TensorFlow. Understood, Arjit? I already explained that. So everything will be there in a blob storage. It's an abstraction layer. You cannot able to see the content. Next, see, I think you are working in normal Databricks, not Azure Databricks, so you are confusing. It's not a S3, it's a blob storage first thing. Here, it's not a EC2, here VMs. Okay. Fine. So now we have seen, we have installed in the same way, whatever you want, you can able to install. Now you see, you try to import the TensorFlow, it will say, it will not throw any error, it will import. You can use this TensorFlow, okay? In the same way, now I'm going to the next notebook here, sample one. Here you see, you know the simplest one is a equal to 10. Okay, maybe you can say print a. Okay, you have b equal to 10. Okay, b equal to a plus something, c equal to a plus b. Then I want to print c. This is a simple calculation. But in between, I want to stop execution here itself. Then you need to say dbutils dot notebook dot exit. Okay, I want to exit with custom. You can say notebook x. Okay, just run now. So now what happened? These are commands are skipped. You see, commands are skipped. What happens? Notebook exited, notebook exited. You understood? So basically, only whatever message, same content I have written, that is the problem. So when I say Cloud Pandit notebook stop, this is the message, whatever message you have written, that will come. Say Cloud Pandit notebook stop. Notebook exited, the message is Cloud Pandit notebook stop. This is the message which you have given. Okay, this is how you can use a message to exit from the notebook. Okay, next, what else you can do? You can call this notebook from this notebook. Okay, but I need to get this notebook location. How to get it is the current path of this. If you want to get it, click on this, you can say copy file path. This is the one way. Okay, or you can use the command which we have discussed. I'm going to run that notebook from here, Untitled run, and you just give this particular path and run it. See, 10 it is printed because a value is a equal to 10 you have done and you are printing 10, so 10 came. Then notebook is exited with Cloud Pandit notebooks stopped. Okay, clear?
But we need to give the location as well, right? It is one of the parameters.
This is what? This is location only, right? This is available.
You mentioned that Bangalore or some example, right? Based on your.
See, that is different. Whatever is there in a slide, that is just for example. Here I'm going to show you practicals. So don't imagine those things. You see here my notebook is there. I took the path, copy file path. This path only I mentioned here. As that notebook is not expecting any parameters, I am not passing. So because we have not discussed widgets we will discuss tomorrow. We will discuss that tomorrow. Okay. Okay, clear, friends. dbutils.notebook. So you can use Scala. It will be very easy to get this get context dot notebook path. In Scala it will be easy because same command will not work in Python. See, this is the current dbutils.part1 is available at the root, because I have not created any subfolders. I have created at the same year. That's why it is showing directly slash this particular notebook. But in real time, we won't create like this. We'll create some folders inside user. You'll have a folders inside folders. We'll have that. Okay. We will see with inputs and outputs tomorrow how to pass the input to the notebook. Other things we'll see tomorrow. Okay.
Malaya, one last question. Sorry to interrupt. So,
Quickly, you need to
hello.
ask. Yeah, tell me.
Malaya. Yeah. You wrote a code like in Scala, like to call a notebook path, right? So suppose if I don't know, in a real-time scenario, suppose in a notebook I am calling some functions, I need to call that from the other notebook. Can we parameterize it?
Yes, those things we will discuss tomorrow. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you.
Those things we will discuss tomorrow. I'm saying.
Oh, well, one thing. All the
When you have a refresh thing, util.refresh, then does it detach and attach the mount?
Not detach. It will just check for all the connections which are available, all the storages which are attached. It will just check, and it will what it will do. It will make sure those storages are available in all the clusters. That's how it is just a refresh. Okay, it will tell you, okay, this cluster is already existed. This cluster. It's suppose if you forget something, it will remind you, kind of thing. Okay, just it will tell you, okay, this.
So if I run any job, so if I run any job or any notebook is running, then I can, in parallel, I can run this refresh command, right? It will not have a make my job getting.
There is no impact.
Okay.
You can use anytime, any time you can use. Yes.
Hey Malaya, so when you are talking about something .show command, you said RDD. What does RDD means, Malaya?
I cannot explain each and everything one day. You should try to understand. RDDs and data frames are totally different concepts. Spark, we need to start. See,
Okay.
as you people saying, ask me to show whether it is written in 3 lines or not. I have written. So RDDs data, those we need to discuss at least some 25 to 30 days. One day I
Got
cannot.
it. I mean, I just want to ensure, like, are we missing anything that time?
Yeah. Don't worry. Everything will cover. You just have to give some. Like, you need to wait.
Malaya, the commands that we have given so far regarding the dbutils, right? Are those Python specific only, or they can be used same in Scala also?
The beginning itself, I mentioned same commands you can use in Scala.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, friends? Okay, then. Thank you.